What's going on, everybody? Welcome in Fantasy Alarm NFL live stream, Monday Night Football live stream. I'm Howard Bender. With me here, of course, is John Impemba. Big thanks to James Grande for producing for the two of us. And we got a lot of stuff that we're going to end up having to cover here. People obviously have stuff going on tonight's game, and we'll get to all of that. John, talk to me first of all, man. How was your week 6? Because my week 6 on the up and down side, man. How about you?
In DFS, I had a much better week 6 than I did seasonal. Jordan Howard obviously killed me in all of my season-long leagues, but I did have exposure to Tariq Cohen and Taylor Gabriel and in DFS, so that worked out perfectly. So I kind of hedged my bets in that game. Obviously, the Bears' defense was very disappointing, giving up all those points to Brock Osweiler in Miami, but all in all, good week DFS-wise, seasonal. I'll have to fade some points tonight from the Green Bay Packers to win a home league. So cheering for San Francisco there.
Sorry, I just got like a big blast of sound from like another live stream that I opened up. I'm like, oops, I think I just opened up the wrong live stream because Brandon Marianne Lee was creeping in my ear all of a sudden there. I'll get that figured out so that way we can get to your questions. Listen, we had this conversation actually on Sunday, right before the live stream. Brandon was saying Tariq. I was saying Jordan. I mixed some Tariq Cohen into some of my GPP lineups, but yeah, dude, that was Jordan Howard. And this is a killer. And there's a lot of stuff that's kind of going on with this. The running back situation right now is just absolutely a nightmare here. I mean, Kenyon Drake fumbling at the goal line. I was surprised to see the Dolphins actually go back to him.
So they went back to him because Gore got dinged up like right before Drake fumbled. If you watch the replay there, like Gore got stuffed. He came out, he's a little wobbly. They had to go to Drake, obviously. And I think Gore was getting looked at in the tent because, I thought for sure after that happened that he wasn't going to see the field again, especially in overtime. You can't risk, that all happening. But came back out there and ultimately, he made 2 big plays on that final drive there to get him in position to win. So a little bit of redemption. But, I mean, he wasn't touched when he fumbled. He was simply just trying to extend the ball, and he just dropped it. So, that's kind of been the year with with Kenny and Drake. How much did you love seeing Ito Smith run that touchdown in over Tevin Coleman? Again, 3rd straight week. Rushing touchdown.
I love me some Ito Smith, man. Nothing like ruining the fantasy value of what Tevin Coleman could be if given the full opportunity over there. How about this one, man? How about the one that backfired on everybody who had some running back depth and ended up sitting Alex Collins? Why? Because Harbaugh never gives Alex Collins the ball inside the red zone, does he?
I mean, he should, but Collins was fumbling too much, so they took the job away from him. And then he runs against the Titans defense, which has been pretty good all year against the run. Tennessee's at home too. You figure maybe they would have the advantage there, but Collins kind of ran all over them, scored twice. Still wasn't great from like a yards per carry perspective. It was 2.5 yards or just under 3 there. So not great, but I mean, you can't hate the 2 touchdowns. So breathe a little life. Plus now he gets a matchup against New Orleans next week. So, we'll have to see if he can carry that success over against one of the worst defenses in football.
Are we already looking to week 7 here? Do we have to do we want to bring up the Willie Snead revenge game narrative here?
And I figure we're talking about him, look a little bit ahead, but let me ask you this. Go back to that Bears game real quickly. What do you think of Trubisky now? 2nd straight week, another really solid performance. Another 3 touchdowns, 9 passing touchdowns over the last 2 weeks.
Listen, I like Trubisky, and I really think that confidence boost game that he got right before the bye was absolutely huge. I have a problem with the way the Nagy was running the offense there. I mean, that's basically it. When you look at what the matchup was, had they pounded the rock with Jordan Howard up the middle, and they did long sustained drives, and they just tired out that Miami defense. They control the clock. They make it happen. They're never in that situation like they were in. I mean, you said it before. Albert Wilson, how many fantasy points did he put up in a 6-minute span?
Yeah. He had a 40-yard touchdown catch and a 70-something yard touchdown catch in 6 minutes. So and that was like a huge swing in that game because I was talking about Tariq Cohen actually caught a touchdown pass. They called it back on like a pick play. The next play was the interception by Trubisky. And I think like that very next play or play after that was when the Albert Wilson touchdown happened. So it was very quick right there. Bears defense obviously was disappointing and gave up all those points. But yeah, Albert Wilson, the dartboard play, we're doing pretty good with that dartboard this year.
We're doing really good with that dartboard, except again, I said this on the show today on Sirius XM. I had Wilson in there in all the freaking lineups because he was so cheap, and he just jumped off the page to me in all the research that I did, and just in an instance, I just forgot everything that I knew about the actual matchup with Miami versus the Bears, and just immediately Brock Osweilered myself.
Yeah.
And just talked myself right out of it. I was like, if I stopped and thought about when I did stop and think about it, I was like, is Osweiler really that far off from Tannehill? No, he's not. So really, what was I thinking making that switch?
What was more disappointing, the Bears losing to Brock Osweiler or the Jaguars giving up 40 points to Dallas?
God love him. Jim Bowden was dealing with flight issues today, and he was not on the show.
Ooh, man.
Yeah.
You would have had to definitely buzz him over the Cowboy counter there. Today's show. 40 points. Jacksonville, supposedly the best defense, losing seasonal owners upwards of 4 fantasy points against a team that hasn't scored on anybody pretty much this year. Yeah, what a blunder. What a blunder that was.
That was unbelievable. And, it was so funny, too, because I was talking to a guy last night who owned both the Jaguars D and the Bears D. He was like, yeah, I drafted the Jaguars D. I picked up the Bears D immediately. I've been trying to trade them, but I figured, okay, let me deal with, one of the bye weeks first and then keep trying to shut them off. And he's like, but I still have them both. I'm like, well, you got to get rid of them, dude. Like you just, you used a high draft pick. A too high draft pick on the Jaguars, and they're not doing anything for you. Yeah. It's like up and down. So crazy stuff, man. Yeah, week 6 was just absolutely. I don't even know what to say about it half the time. I really don't.
Let me ask you this question before we go on and look at tonight's game. How much would you? What's your tipping point on paying for Todd Gurley? He was $10,000 on DraftKings this week. He rushes for 208 yards and 2 scores against Denver, and now he gets to face the 49ers, who everybody can run on. Then he gets Green Bay, and then he gets New Orleans. Like, is there a point where you don't pay for Todd Gurley, or he just you have to eat the cost and find the value?
I'm sure at some point that they're going to price it out. Again, that was the best part about having Albert Wilson in there. It was the best part of a lot of these dartboard guys who we are taking a look at now, because if you do start hitting on them, and we do our the proper research that we're supposed to do to offer up and say, listen, this dude's $3,000. I'm looking at Richie James tonight for San Francisco. Why? Because he's $3,000. Yeah. He's $3,000. He's min price right there. And if you want to get in and get your Aaron Rodgers and your Davante Adams, and you want to get your a couple of other David Johnson this Thursday, if you're playing the Monday Thursday slate. David Johnson. How about all the running backs that you've got between Denver and Arizona, 2 teams who just give up, rushing yards like they're water. So to have one of those deep dartboard plays there really affords you that opportunity. So, oh my Lord.
I know. I'm ready to go back to the Aaron Jones well tonight, though.
Are you really?
I do. I don't think the pass protection issues are going to be a problem tonight against San Francisco. So I'm hoping that, he just runs. Let him run the football. This shouldn't be a game where I don't think that Green Bay is going to fall behind and have to throw. I think this is a game where they get ahead and run the football, and hopefully that's Aaron Jones. Hopefully.
All right, well, let's get into it a little bit here. Let's also talk. It's a big shout out to our sponsors, MyBookie. You guys want some action for the 49ers-Packers game? MyBookie, been in business for years, incredible online reviews, mobile site, super easy to use as well. Just get started today. Go to fantasyalarm.com/mybookie. Use the promo code ALARM. MyBookie will match your deposit dollar for dollar. You deposit $200, they'll deposit $200 for you. fantasyalarm.com/mybookie, promo code ALARM. So when you're talking about tonight's game here, possible game script, where you think it's going to go. San Francisco's run defense, it's not the greatest, but it has actually improved over the last couple of weeks, and they got Reuben Foster back when what's his face, Malcolm Smith, linebacker, came back as well. They definitely shored up that some of that run defense there. But you just think that you're gonna have a big lead for Green Bay and just second half run the ball.
I'm hoping. I mean, you say like shore up the run defense, and I agree the personnel being there for them certainly helps, but they did give up 2 rushing touchdowns to Arizona. Arizona hasn't really run the football at all. So, I mean, if you want to knock the yards for them, then that's fine. 54 yards and 19 carries, nothing great. But you look at the week before that, the Chargers were able to run for 129. KC, even though they only ran for 45 yards, still put up 2 rushing touchdowns by the running backs there. So, even if they aren't getting the yards, the scoring's been there because their defense just hasn't good. So they're putting the offense in position to score touchdowns in the red zone around the goal line, and the running backs are able to punch those in. I'm hoping again that this is kind of a game where Green Bay goes out, puts up points, and they let Aaron Jones run the football.
It's kind of what I said last week too.
It's what we hoped was going to happen last week, but like you said, they got blitzed by Cincinnati, wasn't it? And all of a sudden, or Detroit rather.
Detroit.
And they were down 24-0 or something like that at halftime, and they had to throw. And I mean, God love Aaron Rodgers, threw for 400 yards in the second half.
Right.
But yeah, and that kind of took Aaron Jones out of the game plan because, like you said, they came out and said, running the football isn't the only part of being a running back in the NFL. His pass blocking wasn't up to par. They had to go with Williams. Well, hopefully, I mean, the man's averaging like 5 yards a carry on the year, so hopefully, give him 15 touches, and I think we'll have a good night tonight.
I'm very hesitant to put any kind of trust in. Maybe listen, that's the problem. Like I was hesitant to put my trust into John Harbaugh. I ended up starting Alex Collins just out of need, as opposed to really believing in what the coach said. So I kind of stepped in shit there and found a $100 bill at the bottom of the pile. Is really what it comes down to. Is that going to be the case here for Aaron Jones this week? I just don't know. So all right, any thoughts on passing game here? Now, Cobb's supposed to be out. Who else is Geronimo Allison is actually expected to be out as well here. So it's going to put the ball into Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He's going to be around. Equanimeous St. Brown, he's going to be around. Jimmy Graham, it's a nice matchup. If you look at the DVOA, protection, pass defense numbers against the tight end, it's a weak one for San Francisco here. Jimmy Graham, he's been seeing some steady targets.
Well, that's the one thing you have to point at is, again, the one knock on Graham going to Green Bay and all the talk heading into this year about the value in Jimmy Graham was always that Aaron Rodgers never threw to the tight end. And we all wondered how that was going to play with Davante Adams and all these guys. But Graham's getting the targets, 11 targets last week, 6, 7, and 8 the 3 weeks before. So Rodgers is looking at him for better, for worse. He's only got the 1 touchdown this year. People thought maybe if anything, that's what Jimmy Graham was going to be able to do, right? If he wasn't getting a lot of volume targets, at least he would get the end zone work. Haven't really seen that yet, but I mean, yeah, with the injuries to that receiving group, I think we're going to have to really consider Graham tonight for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at it's kind of interesting when I'm kind of going through. I mean, I want to build a lineup with you, or at least talk to you about the potential of a lineup for like the Monday, Thursday contest. Let me see if we got any other people out there who are in need. I do have somebody asking right now, actually, Breida or Morris in this game tonight. Apparently, Breida is playing.
Yeah.
We know the injury situation going on there. We know with Alfred Morris. Where are you at with Breida?
If Breida's playing, I have to go with Breida. He's just a more explosive playmaker. I'm going to trust that he's playing. He's healthy enough to be on the field and not just going to be used in limited capacity or as a decoy. He can catch the football in the backfield. I think they're going to be behind in this game. So I don't think Alfred Morris is really going to play to their needs. So I'm going to go with Breida.
Yeah, I definitely think that if he's going to play, you might as well. I mean, they obviously have faith in him. He does seem to get dinged up a lot.
Yep.
And that is definitely an issue. Is that how many games this season so far has he had to leave the field because of some sort of an injury? A day-to-day thing.
I mean, the one thing with him, is I've seen some of the injuries he's had. they looked like they were legitimate. Like he had that knee injury that everybody thought, I think it was a couple weeks ago, and the end it was able to come back from at least. So, but yeah, I mean, those are always knocks you have to have on them. I think I'd be more worried if it was always like a nagging hamstring or something, where you never know. When he gets on the field, the next thing you know, he's out. Like we're dealing with Fournette or dealing with Dalvin Cook right now. So I think if he's going to be active, he's going to play, and I got to trust him.
All right, love it. Let's talk from a DFS perspective here. Start off with Green Bay. You're in on Aaron Jones. You're in on Jimmy Graham. I'm assuming that you're in on Aaron Rodgers as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we're going to play sort of a stack, right, with the Packers, they're going to put up points. I think Rodgers is going to get them that lead. Obviously, if you're playing, the Monday night showdowns or the Monday Thursday slate, it's going to get expensive. So, maybe you can only really play one or two of those guys and spend down, like you mentioned, Valdez-Scantling. Try to find some value in guys like that. But yeah, for sure, I think Rodgers is sort of the guy you need to have leading your lineups in today's slate.
Yeah, and listen, if you're looking ahead to that Thursday game right there, I mean, it's Denver against Arizona. I mean,
it's going to be the first clunker Thursday game of the year, probably.
Like, how many is it going to be, though? I mean, that's the funny thing is that I feel like when you're looking at David Johnson going up against Denver's run defense, and come on, they've been gashed. Mm-hmm. And I mean gashed hard with the ground game. And Arizona's been gashed as well throughout the entire season. So you've got Royce Freeman, you've got Phillip Lindsay, and you've got David Johnson right there just going back at each other. Yeah, of course you're going to need to pass the ball. That's why I look at the guys like Chad Williams as possible plays if you're playing on that Monday, Thursday slate. But, I mean, am I going to pay up? Do I really want to sit and try and pay up for Emmanuel Sanders or a Demaryius Thomas?
Probably not, because I don't know who's going to get covered by Peterson over there. So, I guess if you can look at the cornerback matchups and go the other way. I was actually really high on Denver's passing offense this week. I wrote up in the QB coach earlier in the week that I like Case Keenum as the value cornerback. Ever since, Talib and Peters went down, everybody's really able to throw on the Rams, and that came true. Both of them scored touchdowns. Sanders had the big game there. So I don't mind. I don't think Keenum, but I mean, if you're really talking about two teams that are just going to run the football, that's not really that exciting unless they're really breaking big runs off. Well,
that's what they're going to do. It's going to be like Derrick Henry, 65-yard runs back and forth. How many times? Phillip Lindsay's going to catch a pass. He's going to take it 82 yards. He's going to go into the end zone. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic.
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Well, it depends. Is this one of the games that Fox is also broadcasting at the same time as the NFL Network?
It's true. I don't know. I haven't seen the TV schedule.
Conspiracy theorist in me really kind of put that. The first one that they had for Thursday night games was the Rams-Vikings.
Right, and all those points ended up going, and they were like running promos almost as if they predicted all these points. Like, this isn't a boring football game, right? So no, you could be onto something there for sure.
Right, the fix is in, dude. The fix is in.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So you talk to me here, Davante Adams. Any interest in Davante Adams? Like, I mean, how locked in are you on Jones and Graham?
So, that's the thing, right? This is where you're going to have to sort of make your decisions. If you're playing like tonight's showdown slate and you want to go with Adams, Adams, if you don't even use him as your MVP, if I'm playing on DraftKings or whatever, he's almost $12,000. Like you can't really fit anything more than at Rodgers and Adams. And after that, you're really going down to like the defenses and kickers or, Alfred Morris is 6,200, I guess. Kyle Juszczyk, if you want to go real sleeper. Remember on the watch list, I think it was, we had somebody like, or Sunday's live stream, someone was asking the viability of playing Kyle Juszczyk or whatever. Yeah, no. So, you're really going to have to be, find the bargains. You can't afford both Rodgers and Adams on today's slate. You're going to have to really pick one or the other.
Not on the showdown. But you know what? You can do. You ready for this one? Here, just tell me what you think of this.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers. This is on DraftKings. Aaron Rodgers. Then you go both running backs, Lindsay and Freeman. And just lock down the Denver ground game there. Davante Adams. We bring in a little Marquise Goodwin. Because at some point, you figure Beathard's going to have to throw it.
Yeah.
Chad Williams, if you look at the coverage numbers on for Denver, Chad Williams is actually lined up a little bit better. It's a little softer coverage there. It's not terrible, but listen, for $3,000, if Chad Williams catches 5 passes for 50 yards, dude, he's
That's
returning
a lot
something.
to ask for Chad Williams, though.
Is it, though? Is it?
He hasn't had more than one catch only once this year.
I know. It's really kind of tough. It is. Well, you know what?
$5,000 and get me Courtland Sutton. Maybe.
I could probably Courtland Sutton. Let me see if I can. Can I do that? Where do I go here? Let me see. No, this is just min price, and that's it. 3,300. I can't even get Equinemius St. Brown.
Yeah.
Tight end Jimmy Graham. Flex David Johnson. Packers defense.
Yeah.
So Chad Williams is the only throwaway here in this lineup.
Well, what if instead of Chad Williams and Jimmy Graham, you use Ricky Seals-Jones? Don't we love using tight ends against Denver?
We do love that, very much so here. And that's actually big savings. It puts you at 5,900. And that leaves you Valdez-Scantling. You could go Garcon. You could go Fitzgerald, Kirk, Sutton. Where do you want to go with that?
So how much are we looking at here? 56?
59.
59. Yeah. And this is a flex play. I kind of lost you on the roster here. So
it's a wide receiver play.
So this is what I have currently. I have Rodgers, Lindsey, Freeman, Adams, Goodwin, Sutton, Seals-Jones, Packers defense, and I have $9,500 left for a flex. So I feel like there's some money to play. Would you rather Lindsey or Freeman? If you had to pick one.
If I had to pick one?
Yeah.
I would say Well, look and see. I guess I would probably do Lindsey. PPR format here, I guess I would probably do Lindsey.
So this is what I just came up with a couple adjustments there. I have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, Philip Lindsay, David Johnson, Davante Adams, Marquise Goodwin, Courtland Sutton, Ricky Seals-Jones, and Jimmy Graham in the flex, and Green Bay Packers with $400 left over.
Ooh. Very, very interesting here. Let me load that in. Whoop, why does it keep going into there? Because I'm not at the right position. Talk to me about Courtland Sutton, man. Just give me some thoughts.
Well, for me, I just like the fact that he's a big play guy. He's averaging almost 20 yards per catch. Obviously it's a little bit under because there's been a couple games where, he's only caught a handful of passes for whatever. But on games where he's catching multiple passes, they're all going for almost 20 yards on average. He's seeing targets, almost 5-6 targets a game. And he's, like I said, he's a big play guy. This is someone that, everybody was really hyped on as a sleeper coming into the year. There was a lot of talk for whatever reason at the end of training camp that like Demaryius Thomas is on the block. Like they're looking to possibly trade Demaryius Thomas because Sutton is showing so much promise. And, they're sort of beginning to use him. He's kind of always targeted him, but Case Keenum's been so bad that he hasn't been able to really connect with him on these deep throws. But he's a big play guy, and that's what you kind of need in these sort of smaller two-team GTPs and stuff like that. So at $4,000, the upside of Sutton, if you can catch a 40-yard touchdown, that's making up right there.
Beautiful. I love it. I like the idea of throwing Jimmy Graham into the flex there. It's very nice. Well, I mean, I can Jimmy Graham or Ricky Seals-Jones. Either way, I like the Ricky Seals-Jones call. I was really debating whether or not I wanted to do that with him.
Targets each of the last 2 games. Obviously, it's disappointing he didn't catch anything of the 6 targets against San Francisco. But, 5 of 6 against Minnesota, 2 of 4 against Seattle for 52 yards. He's got 6 targets in weeks 1 and 2. So they're looking at him. He just has to catch the football. So I like targets. I'm always been a big proponent. If you ever catch me in the subscriber chat over in Fantasy Land, I'm always talking about targets because targets create opportunity. So while a guy might not have any catches, or maybe he only has a couple catches here or there, he's getting the targets. And a guy I talked about a ton was David Njoku. He had just a bunch of targets in Cleveland, but the production wasn't there, but the targets were there. I kept on telling everybody who was trying to either ditch him or drop him, I'm like, just wait. Like one of these games, he's going to catch him and, caught the touchdown this week. The target's still there. there's always more than just a surface number. Sometimes you got to go a little bit deeper, and I like guys that get these looks. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Got a couple of questions in the chat for you. Before we hit that, let me just say, give a shout out to Fantasy Factor. All right. Why not play both NFL and NBA DFS? You guys know that Fantasy Factor is supported in all fantasy alarm tools, including the lineup generator. That's right. Yeah, we do the lineup generator. It's got all the Fantasy Factor stuff in there. Fantasy Factor will pay for your Playbook Pro subscription for NBA with a new account. So if you sign up over there, you make your first deposit at Fantasy Factor, you'll get all of the NBA Playbook paid for you by them. Starting tomorrow, we'll be adding the rest of the NFL free to all those who also buy the NBA package. For details and to become a factor, go to fantasyalarm.com/FFNBA. Let's finish it up here with a couple of questions tonight. Aaron Jones, Pierre Garçon, or Marquise Goodwin? Flex play, obviously. PPR.
I'm probably going to go Goodwin as a flex in PPR.
Okay. And Yoshi Mike wants to know, is it worth putting Davante Adams as his captain on DraftKings?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's one of the guys that there's going to be a big reason why Green Bay should win this football game. So no problem going Adams or Rodgers. I know a lot of the people like to use sort of the value type players as their captain because, one, they cost less and let you fit more. But, I mean, if Adams goes off and puts up humongous numbers, you're going to want that, 1.5 bonus there.
No doubt about it here. And then you and I talked about this just before, but at Iverson_Michael wants to know, Breida or Morris? Excuse me, PPR, who's got the higher ceiling?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm going to go Breida. I'm going to assume that he's healthy, that's why he's active. And he's the bigger playmaker of the group. He catches the football, get PPR points there. And, yeah, I feel like their offense is at its best when Brady's on the football field.
All right, and at YHNY here you go. Here's the question of all questions, John.
I'm ready.
$3,500 left for the Monday, Thursday. Chad Williams or Richie James?
You like Richie James, right? Or just because the opportunity could potentially be there?
For that kind of money, I like either one of those guys. I mean, the question is do you think Chad Williams benefits from more targets in this instance? Do you think Richie James, because he's going to be the guy coming out of the slot, is really it? But I mean, they're dart throws.
I'm probably going Richie James because I believe in Beathard more of a quarterback right now than Rosen. I think that makes sense. So yeah,
it does make sense.
That's how I'm going with it.
Poor Josh Rosen. He's gonna be so upset that you said this, John.
Well, next year I'll like Josh Rosen a lot more. But something about rookie quarterbacks, new system, the offense doesn't really help them out much. So give me Beathard.
There you go, and that's gonna do it for us here on the Fantasy Alarm NFL Monday Night Live Stream. I'm going to go post some example lineups over there for the Monday, Thursday slate. I don't know what John's going to do. I think he's going to do a little NBA research. NBA starts tomorrow, dude. You want to give everybody a shout and tell them what they can expect from you?
Yeah, I mean, both myself and James Grande, who's producing this live stream right now, we're going to have a podcast for you guys tomorrow morning, previewing the 2-game slate that is opening up the NBA season. We're also going to dive in sort of what you guys can expect from us. We got the podcast, we have live streams every day that there's going to be, a main slate of more than 5 games, from 6 to 6:30. Then we'll be in subscriber chat leading right up to roster lock, answer any questions and last minute injury news. We have the playbook and optimal lineups obviously coming out every day. And then we also have a video, coaches video. We're calling Fantasy Alarm Starting 5, our top 5 players of the slate. That'll be released in the morning, afternoons as well. So a lot of content. We're super excited, obviously, for basketball season to start. At least I am. I know, Howard, you're more of a football, baseball guy, but for me and James especially, big basketball. So super pumped to get the season going.
Listen, I think the coverage this season is going to be phenomenal. Like a daily DFS podcast plus a live stream on bigger slates.
Yep.
I think it's just going to be huge. The fact that you're going to do them from 6 to 6:30 gives everybody a little bit of time to digest, kind of go and reset their lineups. I know it's going to be a big deal. I just love the fact that we've got everything so blanketed here for DFS. I'm super excited for you and James to really, take that step out and just crush it for everybody. I might just have to dabble into DFS NBA only because I know you're going to make me money, John. So there you go.
Definitely. Big things coming this year.
There you go. So that's going to do it for us here today. Best of luck to you in finishing out your week 6. For John and Pemba, I'm Howard Bender. Big thanks to James Grande for producing. We'll catch you next time.